Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. Join me as we chat about mindset, consciousness, and turning up your potency so you can get clear on your divine mission here on earth. I'm a spiritual empowerment coach. I use intuition, mediumship, and life coaching with my clients so they can create the life they truly desire. I believe we are here to be wealthy and healthy. If you desire more of this in your life, then this is the podcast for you. My mission is to share my knowledge of entity clearing, shifting limiting beliefs, and becoming more conscious within our bodies and minds so we can fulfill our life's purpose. I will be bringing you weekly podcasts with interviews, solos, and pre-recorded juicy lives from my socials. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the podcast, and if you do, I would love you to please follow me here and find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find a heap of free inspiration and information to shift the energy and grow abundance. Now let's get into today's episode. Hello, welcome to today's podcast. We are going to be talking all about giving and gifting. There is a massive difference between gifting to somebody out of basically gratitude, out of feeling like you truly desire that because it's going to bring you joy, or giving to somebody and feeling depleted. This is like half energy and half mindset. So I'm going to start off with the mindset. The mindset is when you are born into this world, you give so much joy to those people around you. And as you grow up, they have to start teaching you right from wrong, good and bad, teaching you how to act and how to fit into this reality to keep you safe. But then comes a point where this is actually starting to hurt you because you start giving yourself away if you have taken on the point of view that you must only take what you require. You must give to others but not receive as much because, you don't want to be selfish. And also you must conform to fit in. This is the mindset. This is basically like a collective energy that we are taught in this reality. We get this from TV, from programs, from movies, from, reality stuff. But also we get it from our education, we get it from our upbringing and all of these other things. So it's very clear to see that there is so many things that keep confirming this for us, this point of view that we must give more than we receive and we should only take what we require. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is not true. If you were to create your own reality, which I invite you to do, how would you like that reality to look? How much money would you have? What would the world actually look like? What would your love life look like? What would your parenting look like? What would you look like? What would your body look like? The reason if we don't have all of these things is because we're not willing to receive it. The reason why we're not willing to receive it is because we've been taught that we shouldn't. What will happen if you get paid more than everybody else around you? What if you have all of these areas of your life that you're abundant in and everybody else in this reality is not functioning that way? The majority of people do not have abundance in every single area of their life because they don't think it is a possibility. They do not think it is true. You can't have a great relationship as well as having financial freedom. You can't have financial freedom and be a stay-at-home mum. So these are all limiting beliefs, and these are all mistaken beliefs. So the giving and the gifting, when we are giving ourselves away, when we are saying yes, when we really want to say no, we have depleted ourselves energetically. Mentally, we are exhausting ourselves. Physically, we are tiring ourselves out because we're simply not listening to what it is that we're truly desiring. When we are gifting to somebody, so for instance, if I'm gifting a bunch of flowers to somebody or a birthday present or just a bowl of wine because I desire to, or a free training, or every time I'm doing a Facebook Live, which is, a contribution, I ask the question, am I giving this? Am I gifting this? Is this bringing me joy? Or am I chasing joy? Am I doing this out of obligation? or am I doing this out of contribution? There is a totally different energy per one. So for instance, I remember saying to a mentor of mine, I said, I am so exhausted. My children are draining me. This was about, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I was just still exhausted. And I said, oh my gosh, like, how much more do I have to give? I'm up with this boy 24/7. I was so freaking tired. And she said, maybe stop giving yourself away and see what gift you're receiving. So once I turned around everything and I realized that I was guilt giving to friends and family out of obligation instead of out of contribution, I was like, oh my goodness, no wonder I'm always so tired. When I was even doing things on social media, because I felt like I had to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, rather than I get to do this, I was feeling exhausted. When I went up and beyond for my clients and my business, and I was like, I would give everything, my whole heart and soul to my clients because I love them so much. I was trying to prove myself rather than just allowing myself to respect and understand the gifting of flow between what we were contributing to each other. So when it came to my son and I dropped my barriers and I received what he was gifting to me, I no longer felt that I was giving myself away to him out of obligation, but simply out of contribution. There's a difference between being a parent who is doing things to keep their child alive, to keep them fed, to keep them warm, to keep them a roof over their head, and a difference between actually seeing that stuff as, of course, other practical things are really important, but from a spiritual sense, from a soul sense, being with that being and not seeing them as that child, but being with the being and going, how can I contribute to you? And how can you contribute to me? When we are truly contributing to each other, rather than coming from agendas or motives or lies or expectations, then the journey is so much more sweeter. So now, I've got a real potent little boy. He is just phenomenal, to be completely honest. But I wasn't allowing myself to receive all the gifts that he was desiring to give to me. So of course he's chasing me around going, mom, trying to get all his attention. He's trying to wake me up. So then I'd feel like I was giving him attention and giving him all the things that he wanted and giving. And I was exhausted. So I'm using my son as an example because we're doing this in every area of our lives, including our children. One of the realizations that I've just recently had is, I love my kids. I receive my children. I gift to my children. I love to actually give things to my children because it brings me joy and it brings them joy. But one thing I wasn't doing was actually receiving all the joy and fun and playfulness that my children are offering me to have. The lying down and playing with the Barbie dolls and letting my child read to me and having fun and being silly and just joining them with that inner child, meeting their child. And being together is such a contribution rather than thinking I have to do this for them, I have to do that for them, I have to do this. Instead, I go, we're a team. So we called it Team Bond. Come on, team, what are we doing? We all have a place in the family. We all have something that we contribute. And whether it is love or empathy, whether it is joy or whether it is relaxation, we are this beautiful soup of energy and we're a team. So how can we contribute to each other without the control or the expectations of what people have to do in their set roles? So what roles are we playing as sisters, as friends, as mothers, as workers, as business owners? What are these roles that we have made so solid and significant that we have actually cut off our receiving? When I gift to somebody, I ask the question, am I willing to have, take some time out, time and space to have a coffee with this person or do a session with this person? Am I willing to, go have a drink and go out for dinner with this person? Am I willing to give them a present? And is this all coming from a space of joy, contribution, and gratitude? if I feel like there's a bit of a trigger, or, I've got this funny feeling in my tummy, basically, that's how I get that response. I go, oh, is there a motive, an agenda, or an expectation here that I'm trying to meet, or that I'm reacting to or aligning with? And if there is, like if somebody has a point of view that I'm a shitty friend because I haven't been messaging them, that I don't spend time with them, if that's coming flying at me and I'm feeling that energetically, rather than going to that person and going, I'm so sorry for being a shitty friend, let me take you out for a drink, here's a present, I'm going to give you this. These are things that I have done in the past. Instead, I go, what expectations does this person have of me? Why do they have these expectations? What am I truly willing to gift to this relationship? Because all of my relationships, I desire for them to be authentic, not coming from a place of scarcity, expectation, or a place of feeling like I owe somebody. So why would we create relationships with our family, with our friends, with our partners, with our workmates on those principles, instead of just saying, who do I choose to play with today? Do I choose to play with my children, my husband? Do I choose to play with my friends? What would be fun for me? And what if we could take those questions and apply them to our businesses? What would be fun to create in my business? So I'm doing podcasts today because it's fun, because I desire it. And I'm so pumped because I'm so aligned with how good this feels. This is creating so much more for me. So instead of, doing all these other things that might be on my to-do list, I'm like, what is going to create more for the world? And what am I willing to gift? If we are gifting, we are not exhausting ourselves. If you are tired after being with somebody, what has happened there? What has been going on there? Where are the expectations or their lies or the agendas or their motives? And these are all unconscious, by the way. Not many people are trying to function from these things. But where are we functioning from these things, or where are they functioning from these things? Where if someone's saying to you, you're being a shitty friend, I never see you anymore, spend some time with me, then that's an expectation of who they think you should be. Same with our partners. When we have expectations on what our role of our husband is, or our wife, or our children, or even our workmates, when we have these expectations of role playing, all of a sudden, these different things come in. These agendas, these aligning and agreeing, these judgments, the considerations that we have of what a man should be, a female should be, if you really desired to design your life, what would be super, super fun? Like currently my husband is taking 3 children out to go bowling and to the museum and all these fun things. And I'm working. And that is so light and expensive. That is what I'm choosing. That is what's going to create more. I'm not doing this podcast out of obligation. I'm not doing it right now out of this is going to create me money, or this is going to do this. I have to do this because it's part of my plan. This is coming from, what can my audience hear from me that would contribute to them? What have I experienced? What do I know? What has been going on? And this has really been popping up the last few days. Are you gifting, or are you giving yourself away? If you spend $100 on a present and the person doesn't receive it and they go, oh yeah, cool, they get it. It's like you give it to them and they go, oh yeah, cool, thanks. And they put it aside and they don't feel it with their heart. You know it because you're an energetic being. This psychic awareness that you have, this intuitiveness, this sensing energy, whatever you may call it, it doesn't matter what the words are. If someone looks at you and you've given them a card and you wrote in there and it might just be a little homemade note. Who knows? It might just be a flower that you picked from the garden. A girlfriend did that recently to me and she bought me this flower from her garden. And I was like, wow, the impact that had on me. I felt love. She gave it to me from a place of love and gratitude, where she could have bought me $100 bouquet of flowers and got, I better do this because if I don't, I better do this for A, B, or C, X, Y, and Z. Then I wouldn't have felt as much gratitude as I had. So when we are giving, or when we are giving to somebody and we're doing it for the right reasons and it feels so light and expansive, Whether it is that card or that flower or that $100 bouquet of flowers, the other person will be able to receive it more if you're doing it from a place of gifting and not giving yourself away. Because there is expectations and agendas and motives and all those things attached when you're not doing it from the right place. If you start functioning like this and you ask the question, am I giving myself away here or am I gifting? Especially even if you're going over time with a client and then you're so exhausted afterwards, you gave them your whole heart and soul, and then you're like, what did I just do? Oh my gosh, I just gave myself away. Why did I do that? And if you can actually start going, I gave myself away. What was I trying to prove? What was I trying to get out of that? What was I trying to, what were my expectations of how that conversation was going to go? So rather than doing that, dropping your barriers before you do anything and saying, what am I willing to gift here? What am I willing to contribute? What am I willing to receive? Hi guys, I've just stopped for one moment to tell you a couple of things, okay? So the Release Your Blocks program is now open and I'm so excited. So if you are willing to have more joy, to have better relationships, to have more money, and to really drop into finding out what your superpowers are so you can complete your mission here and your purpose here on earth, this program is phenomenal. It is full of modules that help you to release all of the past limitations and mistaken beliefs that you've picked up while you've been here on earth. And it also helps you to perceive what it is that you need to know to take those next steps in your life. And it also helps you to receive all of that information. If you want to know more about this, check out the notes and we can jump on a call and I will personally talk to you to see if you are a fit for the Release Your Blocks program. This is for people who are willing to do the work, that are willing to become more conscious and that are willing to take responsibility for themselves and have a life full of abundance and joy, because that is what we are here for. Joy and abundance and love and gratitude is all a big part of this 12-week program, and I would love to talk to you to see if you're a fit. So now I'll let you get back to the podcast. The other thing I wanted to touch base on as well is when we're kind of falling out with people, say a lot of people have got, issues with their family because our families just drop all barriers and they just kind of share everything. They share everything, they push boundaries, all of those things. And a lot of people have issues with their moms and their dads or their sisters, and they really piss them off. And they're like, how did this person do that? They weren't there for me. They didn't emotionally support me. They treated me a particular way. Again, it's the motives and the agendas and the expectations of the roles. It is those things that get us stuck in what we think something should look like. We think a sister needs to look like this. A mum needs to look like this. A father needs to look like this. And when people don't live up to their expectation of whatever that might be, whether it's financially, emotionally, or whether it's spiritually, then what happens is we get disappointed. We feel like we deserve better. We may have. But if we dropped those expectations and had no expectations, but we just showed up and we followed what was light and expansive for us rather than heavy, friendships may change or they may shift. Relationships may not make it. If you've been in a relationship where you've been treated a particular way and you've done that and you've stayed there out of fear, you've stayed there out of being scared of losing something, then the whole thing is you're never going to choose more because of the fear. So when you do choose more, when you do choose to gift to yourself and receive for you, to choose for you every single time, other things may drop off. Relationships may drop off. They may change. They may shift. It doesn't mean they're not going to come back around. Like in my first podcast, I talked about how my husband and we broke up. I ran away. I stayed away from him for like 2 years. We had no contact. We completely broke up. It was a very clean cut. We didn't have children or a home together at that stage, or we did have a home, but we didn't own a home. So it was like, see you later. I'm done now. Goodbye. And we broke up for 2 years. 2 years later, we got back together. Now we have a beautiful relationship. I dropped the expectations of his role. I dropped the expectations of what he was going to give me because I wanted him to give me the world. I also wanted other people in the future, past or future, whatever, to help me, to save me, to hear me, to know me. And I made that so significant. But when I chose to show up for me and to gift to myself rather than giving myself away to the world just to try to fit in to this reality so I could be seen and heard and to be something, what actually happened was something absolutely beautiful. I no longer had expectations. I just showed up for me. And if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. I have no hesitation in cancelling the lunch date or cancelling the client if I'm not feeling up to it. I do stick to my commitments. I love what I do. I love what I'm choosing, but I can change my mind. Just like when I gave up smoking, I still have 2 packets of cigarettes. I don't know where they are right now. I think they're currently in a handbag in my wardrobe. And I laughed when I was moving home recently and I said, you know what? I've quit smoking and I've got 2 packets of cigarettes. And I was sending photos to my siblings and my friends and they go, why do you have cigarettes? We didn't know you smoked. And I said, I don't. But if I ever want one, I can. I can choose to have a cigarette anytime I want. And I have done. If I've had a few drinks and I really wanted a cigarette and I've had one, it's probably 2 a year. And then I've gone, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm having a cigarette. I have complete control. I'm choosing to do this. So anyway that we have judgments on these different things, it's the same thing with drugs, with alcohol. What are you choosing? You have complete choice. Why are you choosing it? Why are you choosing to eat that? Is it gifting or is it giving you away? What are the agendas and motives? So when I talk about food, we go into this unconscious eating because we're trying to fill a void. So where are you trying to fill a void when you're giving yourself away? When you're not showing up for you, when you're ignoring you, when you're putting your head under that mat so you don't have to deal with who you truly be, what you're truly choosing. The fear of losing people is still greater than the honoring of yourself and the stepping into your full capacities, your full truth, your full being of who you be so you can create your reality. Now, these people won't necessarily drop off. They won't necessarily crucify you. They won't necessarily, we think back to all the fealties and communities and oaths and vows and commitments and contracts that we had in all time, space and dimensions and past lives and all that type of stuff. And, you went against one of your, the people in your, whatever it is, your crew or wherever you are and whatever time, space and dimension, and you got your head cut off. You got hung up because you were not loyal. This is a different reality. The only person that you require to be loyal to is yourself. And if you are truly guided by that internal compass, then what will really happen is everything will always land because you are as strong as a tree. You're a strong tree with the roots going down and you know what you know, not what somebody else is telling you. Friendships can shift and change. They don't ever have to end. That again is the polarity that we're brought into, that someone pisses you off, so you have to cut them. How many people go on Facebook and say, hey guys, I'm blocking these people. How dare you talk to me like that? And they're putting all of these expectations that have not been met, this disappointment because they're feeling the hurt. They're feeling like they deserve more. And I totally get that. But when you're choosing for you, what am I willing to gift? And, the reason why I brought kids into this is because we feel like we don't have a choice when it comes to our kids. I certainly felt that way. I was like, I've got these 2 beautiful beings. I've got a husband. I've got to make all this shit work. Oh my God, what if I fail? And all these different things. Now I'm sitting here smiling with my husband yesterday, looking around our new house going, we are success. We're choosing success. There's no other way. And we're not available for any kind of lower consciousness feelings of hate and envy and jealousy and, hating on people or these people aren't doing this. And my husband actually said to me, it's all about expectations. What are your expectations of other people? And if you don't have any, but you're willing to receive what they are choosing to give you, then how much more would that contribute to the world? So I really hope that this has landed for you. There's a lot of information in there and I talked really fast. So I'm going to leave it there and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? This is a little bit of controversy in here as well. This is stuff that we're not taught. So what are your aha moments? What do you know about this? What has been your experience in this? So I would love, love, love to hear from you. You can check out the notes for the details on how you can actually find out more. You can come to Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I've got lots of amazing new and upcoming things coming where we dive deeper, deeper, deeper into here. So keep your eye out. And if this is something you want to go deeper in with yourself and you want to book a one-to-one, feel free to check out those notes, look at that Calendly link, and we can go way deeper in shifting things that are currently happening in your life. If you have loved this episode, make sure that you go and give me a star rating, leave a review with your favorite takes from it, so then other people can find, and other people that are really desiring or requiring to hear this information, they may not even know about it yet, can get the shifts as well. So thank you so much. I absolutely adore you, and I will see you next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.